Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Night Hangout here at djntv.com/chill. We're in the chill room, and I'm Howie Darkstar, and I will be your host tonight, and hopefully with the mostest. We have a wonderful cast of characters here, and actually, I was speaking with Lori earlier, and she brought up something. I had a few topics, but this one she agrees, would be a little more timely because it's winter time, and people do get winter gigs. People get married, and um, what do we have coming up? Valentine's coming up, and March. It's still inclement weather for half of the country. But so, inclement weather, what are some of the tips and tricks that you might help a newcomer with? Uh, you know, just getting to a gig. What if it's snowing badly, or even down south? It's raining badly. I'll start out with an example. One example is if it's snowing and I have to go to a venue where I'm parking in front, I always keep a snow shovel in the truck because if the snowplow goes by and puts that big berm there, I'm not climbing over it with my gear. I get out the snow shovel and I will clear a path to the sidewalk so I can take my rock and roller and roll right in. So who wants to go next? Buddy, what do you do? Any tricks you have? You're in Chicagoland,
Yep.
so yeah.
Yeah, we get a touch of snow, small little amount of snow, a little bit of coolness too. Get a little cold. Uh, I think the thing is that is protecting your gear because I could tell you, and it has happened to us coming out of a venue, the ramp in the back. We're loading our van. I come out of the door, turn with the cart. The ramp was icy. The cart
Mm.
kind of tipped over, and then my two speakers went over and got
Oh,
damaged. So I had to take them in for service, which cost us like $550, I think, for both speakers to be repaired. So
wow.
it's like, yeah. So one of the things we try to do is look where we're loading and unloading, and in the wintertime, I've done it before, and I keep in the van is actually a small can, plastic can of salt, because we use rock salt on the sidewalk. So I have a little bit of rock salt in a plastic container, so I can at least salt a little area, so that way the car's not going to slide. I'm not going to slide. I'm a big guy. If I go down,
Mhm.
it's going to hurt.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't want to slide. I don't want my wife to slide if we have more employees with us. So it's all about mitigation, but it is one of the things that you need to protect your gear. But it's hard, especially the winter elements, and when you have snow and ice, and having a shovel. That's a smart idea because how many times you go through, you're worse than the last people to leave, and all of a sudden the guy's clearing the parking lot, and they have a snow pile around your vehicle, like they built a
Yeah,
fort around you. So I've seen
yeah.
that too, and that's not fun.
Yeah, what happened to me was I shoveled a way in, so I was able to get in, but the plow truck went around me, and now I've got a big bunch of snow in front of the truck I can't pull out. So you're darned if you do and darned if you don't.
Yep,
All
yep,
right,
yep.
who wants to go next? How about you, Tom?
Have a lot of plastic tarps for if it rains on New Year's Eve or something, and just
Mm,
be aware of the weather and everything.
mm.
Mm. And
Well,
it
thank
has
you.
happened out here.
All right, Ken, how about you? You look like you're ice blue down there. Is your mic on, Ken?
Are you
Come
talking
in, Ken.
L or Ken?
Oh,
hard to read. It says K-Tel. All right, K-Tel.
Yeah. Totally
Kevin.
different. Yes. Well, if it's snowing to beat the band, first thing I would do is call the venue, see if it's been canceled. Also,
Good idea.
make sure. I mean, you're barking up the wrong tree, getting all these preparedness when it could be canceled. Call or find out whether your local county is under a level snow emergency, so you ain't even out, because I'm pretty sure they'd love to throw a DJ in jail for just being out there going someplace where no one else is going to be showing up either. So I do that. Shovel's a great idea. I'd probably try to make sure that the venue had tools of the trade. They should have probably had to clear their sidewalk, so they really should have some equipment there. As far as rainy conditions, try to, maybe if you're planning a trip to a venue, maybe check out the radar, see if there's a open spot of the rain's going to stop at a certain point, so you can try to time it so it's not raining when you're needing to move all your gear inside. I'd hate my gear to get wet, so I would do. A lot of it is just, to me, it seems like common sense stuff. If it's an outside event, and it's going to be raining, be prepared. Again, I got a guy. I don't know whether you guys do it. He will work through rain, which is not really advisable, but he will, and he will garbage bag the speakers. You can do that. If you get completely wireless, that makes it a lot easier, because then you don't have cords going up into it. You got battery and Wi-Fi, like those lovely new Alpha Thetas out there. Just another reason to have that, because you got everything. You can just bag it completely and not have to worry about having a cord running up in there. Also keeps it from getting a electrical shock hazard. So there's a lot of common sense things I think people should know. I will say that's enough from me. There's other people who'd like to talk.
Well, thank you, K-Tel. I think you made a very important point about calling the venue, because we all know they would definitely call the DJ first to tell them, hey, we're not having something. I'm being facetious now, because we're the last ones that'll call. All righty. So we have the oldest DJ in the house, according to his name tag.
No, that's what you name me, but yes, yeah. We'll go with that. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm in New England, and if anybody's familiar with New England, we get all 3 seasons in one day here. Right, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
You were formerly from there. But
yep.
Again, I agree with Buddy. I agree with K-Tel, Kevin. That you've got to prepare for whether it's going to rain or snow. And when I find that it's going to be ice, snow, I get on my phone and I give it to somebody else. I ain't going out because I don't want to. I don't want to end up like Buddy on the ground. As much as I need the money, your safety comes first. Correct? I mean, we don't want to be that guy that's got a broken leg or a broken arm trying to get into a venue. And listen, some venues are very easy to get into, which are fine. But I've got a lot of venues around here that you got to go up a long ramp. It's like going into Disneyland on a ride. And it's like, come on, guys. You're not going to salt this, or. So I even forgot where I was going with this, but go to Jay, whatever. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jay, this man here DJ'd an event the day after he broke his leg. He had a cast on his leg. He showed up.
And he still showed up. Yes, God bless him.
Yes,
And he still showed up.
Gotta show up. I mean, obviously I don't face the weather concerns you guys have, but I treat every event like, where are the weak links, what's likely to go south. The night before gigs, I make sure I get a full tank of gas. Growing up back east, I know
Yeah.
that if you got an eighth of a tank of gas and you wake up on an ice cold day, there could be a little water in that tank. You could get a little issue
Mhm.
starting. Plus, if the roads are bad, do you really want to start pulling in and out of gas stations? So out here, Tom
Right.
mentioned tarps. We do get rain. I've got covers for when I go out, and I've made deals with clients and I've said, here's the arrangement. Oh, we've got a cover for you. I'm like, that's great. But if the rain really starts hitting, if it gets within a couple of feet of the gear, I've got to stop. I'm not going to get electrocuted over this.
Right.
I've
Right.
actually done like 4 gigs where I had to go through snow because we have a place called Julian, which is up in the 4,800 foot range. And if you get
Wow.
rain and it's cold enough up there, you get snow. And granted, I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee, so I've got 4-wheel drive. I've got the Volvo, which is all-wheel drive. But like anything else, it's you got to plan on everything going south. The biggest thing I invest in every year, and I think it's $130, $140. I have AAA Plus. They'll tow me for free for up to 200 miles.
Yep.
So even on a bright sunny day, if God forbid the vehicle breaks down halfway to a gig, in a pinch, I can call AAA and be like, "Yeah, I need a tow to this venue." Get towed
Hmm.
to the venue, do the gig, and then
Yes.
get towed home, or have another car come and get the gear and figure it out. You just
Hmm.
always have to you have to look at it as what could likely go wrong. Well, my
Hmm.
laptop could die. Okay, charge your laptop the night before. So that way,
Hmm.
when you get to the gig, you have a fully charged laptop. Because what if you suddenly don't have a power supply? I mean, it sounds crazy, but
Hmm.
I literally have two of everything. I've got my wired mics, my wireless mics. I've got, everything I think I'm going to need. I've never made
Do
a
you have
physical checklist, but I
do you
have one
have
in my
a
head.
do you have a voice mic and a singing mic?
I don't bring singing mics to weddings anymore. I only bring speaking mics. I really find it works best because you don't want to give somebody the false sense of American Idol at somebody's wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and I agree with what, Kevin said especially. I've done work back east and I've had those snowstorms hit where you're like, "Oh yeah, the event's got
Hmm.
to be going." And you drive all the way out to the event only to find out that it's canceled. And it's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why didn't anyone tell me? I'm already here." And now you get
Yeah.
to play the game of, "Well, I showed up and you didn't and you owe me money." And you
Right.
know, I think Buddy's idea of the rock salt is great because you are going to get areas where it's going to get tricky. And if you introduce
Hmm.
water and ice to it, the rock and roll carts are only so strong. They're
Right.
going to slide. They're not gripping the ground.
Yeah.
And I know
Exactly.
I think most of you guys in the Midwest and the Northeast, you've probably gone through it enough that it's second nature. But I think like the topic of the show for newer DJs, just just think ahead to what could go south. Tom does this and I do it. If it's raining out, if I'm going to leave to get to a gig, so I'm there 2 hours early and it takes an hour to get to the gig, but it's raining, I'll leave an extra hour early. And that sounds
Yep.
insane, but in California, we have the worst drivers in the rain because it doesn't rain enough to wash the oil off. Everyone has slick tires and they're all doing the same speed in the rain, and it's one accident after another. So the way to get to your
Hmm.
gig could be wiped out.
Yeah.
Just always think ahead to everything and anything that could go wrong. I'm sure Tom's done this too. I've had gigs far enough away with bad weather coming where I've opted to go in the night before and get a hotel room.
Right.
$100 for a
Hmm.
room. And guess what? I wake up 3 miles from the venue. It's pouring rain. There's accidents on all the freeways up in LA. I told you
Hmm.
guys this past April, I drove from Westlake to my house, like 103 miles. Took me 3 hours and 45 minutes in the rain. Now, if I
Yeah.
had to get to a gig, I mean, and you wanted to be there, I'd be leaving at 8 in the morning for a 5 o'clock gig that night. So even
Right.
consider that, Buddy doesn't get much snow, but if he's got to go into Chicago where there might be more snow, might be prudent to just say, you know what, I'm getting a hotel room at the venue.
Mhm.
Hotels rarely cancel.
We've done that before. Tracy and I've gotten
Yeah.
hotel rooms. We see a snowstorm coming in, especially again, we're not close by, and again, it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You got to realize the cost of what you're going to make, the cost of the refund, and your reputation. What's it worth in the middle? And it's probably worth a couple $100 to just be ready.
Yeah.
You're worried
I
about your
think,
car not making it, rent a car.
yeah. Jimmy used to do that. He didn't believe his vehicle would make it, that old van. And he would. When he went to Atlantic City, he drove up, he rented a car.
Yeah.
When we did that huge wedding, which was nice, he rented a car. And
I
yeah,
rented
I'm
an Arcadia 2 weeks ago for the weekend, got it Friday, gave it, or Saturday morning, gave it back Monday morning. Had two
mhm,
gigs. My Jeep needs brakes, and I didn't want to drive to San Diego and back twice without changing the
right.
brakes, and I didn't have the time. So I'm like, you know what? It's costing me like, I think for the 2 days, the total out the door was like $87. I got a
Right.
brand new 2025 vehicle with 2,000 miles on it, filled it up with gear, drove and did the 2 gigs. I mean, $89 plus some gas,
Yeah,
not a problem. It's
Yeah.
cost of
it's
doing
worth it.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I was gonna save for last, and Jay, you mentioned it, is the AAA Gold. And it really
Yep.
is gold because it will get you to the venue. And if you have a gold card, they get there quicker. It's worth it to pay the extra, whether it's plus
200
or
miles
gold.
free towing. 200
Yep.
miles free towing. Ask your
And
local tow truck what a 200-mile tow is.
well, I'm not ashamed to say this, but you get two a year. Okay. And what I did was I got towed to the venue, and then I had some people volunteered to help me push it out to the side of the road and called AAA and said, "Hey, I'm broke down again on the side of the road." And they came out and they towed me home because I was within 200 miles. So, for me, it was worth the $150 a
Yeah.
year, and it
It
didn't
used to be
cost me
four,
anything.
by the way. It used to be 4 tows a year you got.
Yeah, now they're down to two. And but you do, and they don't jump batteries anyway. They'll sell you a AAA battery.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Hey, thank you all so much for helping out and for being here when I was ill. And that is going to do it for us tonight. And hey, we'll be back next week